Welcome to the episode from Stress to Success Blueprint. I'm your host, Lolita Guarin, and it's a 140 episode of my podcast. And I am continuing the conversation about stress and burnout and work-life balance and all that. But this week I decided I will be answering all your questions. So because I've been asking, give me questions and I receive them. It's not like, you know, the one that I'll answer first is the most important one. It's not. They're all very, very important. But first, before we start talking about work-life balance, I want to say something that work-life balance can look very different from person to person. Balance, it doesn't mean that you have to spend 50% of your time with your family and 50% time with in your work environment or your business. That balance is what it means to you. Because let's say somebody single and they don't have kids and pets and all of this that they need to take care of every day. So for them, it's, that could be not 50%. That could be a very different percentage that compared to someone who is actually working a business and owning a business and responsible for the people in their life, and someone who just goes to work for somebody else. So it's all about how does you enjoying your life. Are you giving enough time for yourself? Do you feel energized or do you feel burnout? Do you feel that you're working too much? Do you feel like you're spending enough time with your family? Or if you don't have family, are you spending enough time with yourself and with your friends and doing the stuff that you love doing it? So that balance could be very different to you or to me. So it's you who decide what does it means to you and how you can arrive to that point. So the questions are, and the first one I'm just going to say, somebody asked me, well, all of this conversation is great about what we need to do about work-life balance, but what if I have very demanding job and then I love spending time with my family? What is it to do? So first of all, we need to realize that some people, for them, work is the number one priority because that's how they feel that they are supporting their family. That is their love for their family, not spending time with the actual family, but providing for the family financially. Like I always say, it's great idea to figure out what kind of personality type you are, what are your love languages are, because how you express affection towards those that you love, express attention and love, you really will be determining how you will approach the whole being with them and loving them situations. Because if you're one of those people who think that, well, I have to take care financially, I mean, if we have no food on the table, that what's the point for me to sitting at the table? I better be working there. But then that family doesn't really see you. Is this is how they appreciate you? Is this is how they want it to? So it's very important to actually have a conversation with your family and decide, well, how much is enough and what is it they want. But let's just say the question is about that you have responsibilities that you need at work, but you also want to stay with your family and you torn between two. Um, we always need to know that we have to schedule ourselves in schedule. You need to put yourself pencil in, really, like a meeting. When I talk about stress and burnout that has to do with yourself only, I tell you that you need to pencil yourself in a schedule. See yourself as your client, see yourself as a project, and say, okay, well, this time, 15 minutes, that's what you're doing nothing. Or you're walking around the block, or this is when you eat your lunch. But let's say you work in a place that, you know, okay, you may be able to pencil yourself in, but you still end up working very long hours. And that comes from belief that you need to give yourself away in order to be loved, accepted, and appreciated. Comes from belief that you are not enough the way you are, and you're not enough of just doing let's say 40 hours a week instead of 60 hours a week? Why is that you really need to have that 60 hours a week? Okay, I could already hear it. Somebody says, well, because it's more money. That's how I can support my family. Okay, if at the end of the day you talk with your family and they say, I don't care, I'm going to have a new bicycle, but I really want to see you home and I want to spend time with you and having dinner with you and seeing, let's say, if you have a family and see those kids grow instead of sitting here in the office and just doing your work hours. You need to know what is the happy medium. There are plenty of clients I have that come to me and they say, I am workaholic. I just have to perform because that's how my parents were doing it. But oh, my dad was a CEO of a company, but guess what? I never saw him at home. So those kids grow up with this kind of childhood trauma of thinking they're not good enough because the parent was not there for them. So you really need to evaluate what is it your work-life balance is, how is this really affecting your life in the long run? Maybe it's a great idea that you're working all of those hours and you're making so much money that you think you're providing for the family, but you really need to know what is that you really need to provide for that family. If let's say you are going through the hard time right now and your spouse doesn't have another job, or you have some medical expenses, or you just have so much to spend, then you really need to work, then okay. But you also can give so much to your family that is free, that attention, affection, and the validation and all those things, to make sure that you're not going to drop the family just for your work. Because just sitting not with their family, that's not work-life balance. That is, you think you're solving one problem when actually a bigger problem is being created. So that's my answer. Ask yourself, number one question is that working out in the long run? When my work long hours, when I'm making all this money, and I am afraid to say no to my boss that I'm working way too long, how is that benefiting you? And then when you really know what does this balance look like for you, then you can start tackling those issues. So I wonder, what do you think? Do you have a good ratio of work-life balance? I would love to hear it in your comments. And thank you so much for watching for this video and listening. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. And leave me a comment and a question, because I love seeing questions and comments from other people so we can share experiences.